Hi everyone, I'm Mia, and today for my AP Human Geography Migration Project, I'm here with my dad, and he's going to be telling a story about how he migrated from Trinidad and Tobago to the United States of America. Thank you for being here today.
I'm happy to be here.
So, first, we'll start off with asking where exactly in Trinidad did you grow up in?
I grew up in a place called Maracas Valley, St. Joseph. It was a beautiful place. It was a valley separated by two mountains with a river running through the valley. And that's where I grew up.
So, when you were growing up, what was life like for you at that time?
At that particular time, around 14, 15 years old, I had very little supervision. I was in the house with my two older brothers and myself, and I was cutting school a lot and not going to school and going to the river and fishing and having a good time.
So, what made you decide to move to the United States then? If
Well,
you were having a good
well, my
time.
mom realized that I was cutting a lot of school, and she was already in living in Brooklyn, New York, and we had a conversation, and she decided to send for me so I can start over in Brooklyn by going back to school.
So, what was your mom doing in New York and you were in
Well,
Trinidad?
she was preparing the family to move because she wanted a better life for the family. So she came to Brooklyn, New York on a vacation and ended up staying and having my younger brother. And my younger brother was able back then in the 1980s to sponsor her. And she got her green card, and then she put in papers for myself and my two older brothers. And that's how I was able to immigrate to Brooklyn, New York.
Cool. So, when you first moved, you were like the same age, 15, 14 years old?
Yeah, I was 15 when I came
15.
to move to Brooklyn, New York. Yes.
And when you first moved, what city, what area did you move to? What was that experience
Well, I
like?
remember landing at JFK International Airport, and when I landed, I flew from Trinidad to JFK by myself on the plane. I was 15 years old at that time, and when I got to the airport, being a minor, they escorted me into a room, and then this gentleman came and presented me with my green card. So I already had my green card in my hand when I walked out of the terminal and met my mom. I already had my green card. It's done differently now, but back then that's how it was done.
So, when you first arrived, you were living in Brooklyn, New York?
Yes, it's Flatbush, it's an area called Flatbush in Brooklyn, New York. Yes.
And what were the some of the first challenges that you
Well,
faced?
the first challenges I faced was attending school. So enrolled in school, and I started since I was 15. I started the 10th grade,
Mhm.
and the challenges was not much. It was adjusting, but I adjusted well because I played. I joined the soccer team, and also ran track and field. So I met a lot of friends in sports or through
Mhm.
sports, and I was able to make a fine adjustment.
So, looks like you adjusted well and you had a good high school experience. What did you do after high school?
Well, my mom was working two jobs at that particular time, supporting four boys. So we did not have a lot of money. So I decided to join the military. And
Mhm.
I know by joining the army, you can receive the GI Bill. And after I end my service, after 3 years being enlisted, I was able to use the GI Bill, and the GI Bill paid for my college.
When you went to college, what did you major in and what were you planning
Well,
to
I
do?
attended college and I majored in accounting, and I took the certified public accounting exam and passed that and became a CPA and worked in public accounting in Manhattan for approximately 5 years.
And then what'd you do after
Well,
the five
I
years?
did not like accounting. I thought it was boring and the corporate environment was somewhat boring. So I became a police officer and joined the New York City Police Department.
Can you give us a little insight to what your New York City police officer days were
Well, I
like?
started off attending the police academy in Manhattan for 6 months, and then after graduation, I was assigned to Queens, a precinct in Queens, and the 104 precinct where I was in a patrol car patrolling with a
Hmm.
partner, and I did that for approximately 5 years. And then I took the sergeant's exam and got promoted. And then I was transferred to one of the busiest precincts in Brooklyn called the 75th Precinct. It's
Mhm.
one of the top uh, places where there's a lot of crime and a lot of action.
So what led you to what ended your career? Because now you are retired and we don't live in New York anymore. We live in Florida. So what was the cause of your retirement?
Well, there's a big incident that happened, and that's 9/11. And then I was there on the first day, and I was actually there, and the buildings almost fell on top of me. I was at the base of the North Tower, and I saw the buildings fell, and I ended up going back working at the World Trade Center for approximately 6 months, and then I came down with cancer, stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then after being sick for over a year, I retired.
Hmm. And then once you were retired, you got your pension. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. You can receive a pension after 20 years working with the New York City Police Department. And after spending 2 more years in New York, I decided New York was too expensive. The cost of living is very expensive, and decided to move the family to Ponte Vedra, Florida.
And then, yeah, as we can see here, that is where we are now, and we've been here ever since. So now reflecting back, how do you feel about your move to the United States?
I was a success because my four brothers, we all came to United States and made something out of ourselves. Me being in the army and becoming an accountant, and then a retired NYPD sergeant. My younger brother is a registered nurse, and my older brother is a director of a hospital, and my other brother works as a surveyor on the roads. So we all came and made a better life for ourselves.
Before the reflection section, let's take a look at some visuals that show how my dad's journey represents broader migration patterns and global trends. My dad's journey followed a long distance international migration route from Maracas Valley, Trinidad to Brooklyn, New York, and eventually to Jacksonville, Florida. His story is an example of chain migration, where one family member's move, in this case my grandmother's, creates an opportunity for others to follow and settle in the same destination. In Trinidad, push factors like limited supervision for my dad, fewer opportunities, and a smaller job market encouraged migration. The pull factors in the United States included family reunification with his mom and his brother, education, safety, and the chance to achieve the American dream. If we take a look at the population pyramids of both countries, Trinidad's pyramid has a smaller base and wider middle, showing slower population growth and fewer young people entering the workforce. On the other hand, the United States pyramid is more balanced with an older demographic that depends on immigrants to support its labor force. When you look at the demographic data, both Trinidad and the United States have pretty similar birth and death rates, but the US has a much lower infant mortality rate and a higher life expectancy, showing stronger healthcare systems and quality of life. These differences can act as pull factors for migrants seeking better opportunities and stability for their families. Migration from Trinidad and Tobago to the United States has both costs and benefits. For Trinidad, this kind of movement often results in brain drain, which is the loss of skilled or motivated workers who move abroad for better opportunities. Meanwhile, the United States experiences a labor gain as immigrants fill jobs, start families, and contribute to economic growth and cultural diversity. My dad's journey represents this global pattern, one that connects personal choices to larger migration trends around the world. My dad's story also reflects Ravenstein's laws of migration. He moved from a rural area to an urban center, Maracas Valley to Brooklyn, matching the idea that migrants often travel from countryside to cities for better opportunity. Ravenstein also said that long distance migrants are drawn to major economic centers, and that migration often occurs in steps or through family connections, which we now call chain migration. His experience shows how these theories connect to real life, how migration isn't just movement across borders, but movement towards opportunity, growth, and to overall have a better life. My dad's story reminds me how migration can shape not just one life, but generations to come. Because of his move, I've had the chance to grow up in the United States while still staying connected to my Trinidadian roots. Since my dad is from Trinidad, which you should know by now if you've been watching the video, I've had the opportunity to play for the Trinidad and Tobago Youth National Team. This has helped me experience where my dad grew up and carry on the culture that made our family who we are. Migration connects people, places, and generations, and my dad's journey is living proof of that. Looking back to Trinidad and Tobago, even though you're here in the United States, do you still have feel somewhat connected to Trinidad?
Yes, I will always feel connected because I grew up there and I left there when I was 15 years old. And as you know, I took you to Trinidad, introduced you to Trinidad, and you being a soccer player, they invited you to play for the Trinidad and Tobago youth national team. And as of right now, you have accomplished a lot, and you have 16 caps, national caps with the youth national team for Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that is, I definitely feel connected to Trinidad a lot because of that. So that's a great experience and just overall amazing. So, thank you for being here today and sharing your story.
I'm happy to share my story. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you and thank you for watching. Bye.